Welcome back. Well, yes, we do have Professor Babagana Zulum, Governor of Borno State and Chairman of Northeast Governors Forum, joining us this morning. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us today on the program.
Morning, and thank you very much.
Okay, well, yes, you just concluded the Northeast Governors meeting, and the communique did speak on some of the, or at least the issues that the forum addressed yesterday. But then the initial parts focused on security, referencing how there are general improvements in security. So could you tell us, what are the indicators that the forum saw to warrant you saying, well, there is general improvement in security in the region?
It's cutting. I can't hear you. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, it is right that the security situation in the Northeast sub-region is getting better. The indices are as follows. Within the last 2 to 3 months, incidences of attacks have drastically reduced in Borno State. Secondly, unlike before, the military are now offensive to a larger extent. The insurgents have attacked many communities, and the military were able to attack such repels. Most importantly, the issue of reconstruction, rehabilitation, and settlement is very important, because you have seen government of Borno State have started resettling back people to their communities. This is an indication that there is an emerging peace in the region. Another most important thing is also the issue of repatriation of Nigerians that are living in the Republic of Cameroon as well as in the Republic of Niger. Few months ago, government of Borno State as well as the federal government has embarked upon repatriation of our citizens in Minawa camp. Why? Because there is gradual return of peace to the region. And I think these are very important reasons why we said peace has started returning to the sub-region gradually. People have started returning to their farmlands, areas that have not been cultivated for the last 6, 7 years. People have started cultivating it. People have gone up into the hinterlands, especially in the shores of the Lake Chad, to start farming. So I think this is something that we need to praise the federal government, and then we need to praise the leadership of the Nigerian army and ensure that sustainability is maintained. Thank you very much.
Okay, so do you think that few months is sufficient to come to that kind of conclusion, given the nature of this war? Or is it largely about, well, we also need to encourage the security agencies, because you did speak about the importance of sustaining this. So we don't know if you've seen enough on ground to justify or to encourage you saying these actions appear that they will be sustained.
Thank you very much. People should take note that issue of security should not be politicized. That is something which is very important. As I've rightly pointed out, there is a need for us to sustain the momentum. Whether we like it or not, the Nigerian military has to be well equipped. That is one. Whether we like it or not, the numerical strength of the Nigerian military is lean. And therefore, this peace that we are having it now has to be looked into again. If we want to sustain it, I think this is the time that the Nigerian army should should gear up towards sustaining the recent gains. Otherwise, the entire phenomenon should be wasted. Why I'm saying that is that right now we have some problems in the shores of the Lake Chad. We have some problems in the Sambisa Game Reserve as well as in the Mandra Hill. So the Nigerian army should not relax by this our statement that there is peace in Borno State, there is peace in the Northeast sub-region. What we are saying is truth. Yes, we have started witnessing gradual return of peace into the sub-region, but that does not mean that the problem is over. They have to work hard in ensuring that the remnants of the insurgents are cleared in the shores of the Lake Chad, are cleared in the Sambisa Game Reserve, as well as in the Mandra Hill.
Well, beyond the intervention of the military, Your Excellency, what else needs to be done to sustain that momentum? I remember on 2 different occasions, 2 governors in the north, Governor El Rufai and Governor Masari of Katsina State, both of them said that they had a challenge of a recurrence, a resurgence of insecurity in the region because they couldn't sustain the momentum in terms of the contributions that the governors were supposed to be making to ensure that they all sustained the momentum of security that they had secured. That's what happened according to the 2 governors in the Northwest. In the Northeast, what else can be done beyond the intervention of the military that you have talked about? What else can the governors do on their own to ensure that this momentum is sustained?
This statement is very important. We have to address the social, political, and economic dimension of this crisis, which is very important. Because there is increasing poverty in the sub-region, that is something that will trigger insurgency. There is increasing food insecurity in the sub-region, because food insecurity is the worst form of insecurity. And that is why the Borno State government, under my distinguished leadership, has been advocating for farming for the last 2 years. Farmers should be allowed to go to their farmlands. The Nigerian military should create the enabling environment for farmers to go to their farmlands so that they can cultivate their lands. It is no more sustainable for our internally displaced persons living in both IDP camps and in the host communities to receive food and non-food items from donor partners. People must earn their means of livelihood if we want to ensure that this insurgency comes to an end. And I think mistake has been done before, whether we like it or not. We accumulated huge number of people in the IDP camps, which is not right. There is increasing prostitution in the IDP camps. There is increasing drug abuse in the IDP camp. There is increasing procreation in the IDP camps. And therefore, the best alternative that we shall do is that government should create the enabling environment that will ensure reconstruction and resettlement of IDPs to their into their communities in a dignified manner. That is something very important. The second most important thing is the issue of mercenaries. I've said it many times. The current capability of the Nigerian army is not enough to sustain the military operation in the Northeast. They are doing their best, but I think they are yet to get all the equipment needed to fight the war. What we are saying is that in the interim, they should seek for coalition. In the interim, they should seek for external support. That means they should call it mercenaries, or they should engage with their neighbors to ensure that they form coalition to fight the insurgents. Because right now, some of the insurgents are coming out in other parts of the country. And the Nigerian army doesn't have all the requirements to fight the insurgents right now. And they are suffering. We are losing many army officers, men and officers in the Nigerian army. And therefore, there's nothing wrong for the Nigerian army to heed into our own advice of inviting mercenaries forming a coalition with their neighbors to ensure the remnants of the insurgents are cleared, fending when they should get all their requirements to face the insurgents. There's something very important. But unfortunately, they don't listen. Until the whole phenomenon will consume all of us. I've been saying this one for the last 4 years, since when I was a commissioner. If this thing was done before, honestly speaking, we couldn't have seen the problem of insurgency in the Northwest as well as in North Central. And you have seen now that's even affected some regions in the Southwest as well as the South, and Southeast. The issue of addressing the socio-political and economic dimension of this crisis is also very important. Addressing the issues of farmers' herders is also very important. Ensure that enabling environment has been created to the herders is very important. This issue of stopping open grazing and others will not work unless if we sit down and address all these issues squarely.
I mean, like you said, you've been consistent with this issue of raising or engaging mercenaries time and again. And I recall the Minister of Defense really saying, well, we're not going to do that. But I want to believe that beyond raising this, I mean, in conversations with, journalists like us, you probably have raised this at the highest level with the president. And I believe reasons were given to you as to why this is not feasible or this will not be done now. But it appears as though those reasons might not be, sound enough for you. What reasons have been given regarding Nigeria's reluctance in engaging mercenaries to prosecute this war?
I have had a series of consultations with Mr. President. He has never told me that he will not engage mercenaries, but it seems the federal government as well as the Nigerian army have developed a lukewarm attitude towards bringing the mercenaries. They have developed a cold feet. So I think one of the reasons is cost. And then the second reason, to the best of my knowledge, I think the Nigerian army felt that Nigeria is big enough. No, the Nigerian army of last 30 years, of last 40 years, is better than the Nigerian army of nowadays. It's sad. It's very sad. We're supposed to have gone far in terms of development. But you look at the equipment that we have in the last 40 years are still in existence. Yes, Mr. President has procured some equipment. The equipments are coming. But when will they arrive? That's a serious thing that they should look into it. Because we need to address this issue immediately. Otherwise, the issue will consume the greater part of the nation. But I think I've seen Mr. President has invited member nations of the Lake Chad Basin Commission. He has interfaced with the President of Niger, President of Chad, and other presidents in the region. This will go a long way in solving the issues. To the best of my knowledge, although I'm not privy to some of our discussions, but I think the President is looking forward to seeing the issue of the insecurity being addressed at the regional level, which is very important. You can't address the issue of insecurity in Borno State without interfacing with the government of Niger, with the government of Cameroon, as well as the government of Chad. They are very important. Because what about the waterways? Which is also very important. So we need to coalesce, we need to put heads together and then say the right thing. The most important thing is that people don't say the right thing. I'm in the sub-region. Yes, sometimes the Nigerian army are not even, they don't have even enough ammunition. Yes. You can see what the outcome of our discussion resolutions at the Northeast Governors Forum. We categorically stated that fees has started returning to the Northeast gradually. We appreciated the effort of the federal government. But again, we must say the right thing. The Govs are eminent. The Nigerian army, do they have enough vehicles? No. Do they have enough ammunition? No. Do they have enough air guns? No. Do they have helicopters enough? No. Do they have enough strength, numerical strength? No. But they are doing their best. But again, we have to say the right thing. The issue of funding, I think the nexus between peace, security, and development need not to be overemphasized. You cannot just say we don't have funding. This is never feasible. And we thank God Mr. President has sent a supplementary budget of about 800 billion naira to the National Assembly. This budget, I think, most of the funding is going into the Nigerian military. This is good. I see no reason why, if we are providing support for social investment of over 800 billion naira, and then we are saying that we don't have money to procure arms. Security is very important. We have to prioritize our demands. We have to prioritize our objectives. We have to place security as number one priority. We have to address security as number one. We can see some of monies are going into many MDS. And I believe most of this money are going into the tortuous, bureaucratic melting pots of the ministerial systems. Why not security? Security is essential. And therefore, you construct road. If there is no security, nobody will fly. You decided to put internally displaced persons by giving them 20,000, 30,000 naira. This is not important. Create an enabling environment that they can be on their own. How? Provide security in such a way that people will move freely on our highways.
Yeah, so
provide security in such a way that farmers can engage in their normal farming activities. This is very key. Provide security that will enhance trans-border trading. This is very important. Ensure that each and every person in Nigeria will move freely. And so then people will earn their means of livelihood.
All right, but Your Excellency, are you suggesting that there are some politicians, including some persons in the army, who are not telling the president the truth about the current situation, and as such, perhaps that's why this is festering to their own benefit?
I believe so. But I'm sure that the current crop of military are telling the right thing, because I have the privilege to go through some of their requirements. But people should also take note that the financial situation in Nigeria now is not as good as before. But most importantly, many people are benefiting from this crisis, whether we like it or not. We have some people within the political class, within the Nigerian army, as well as within the government, that don't want to see the end of this crisis. This is a fact. If not, how can we fight a war in the Northeast for the last 11 years? Nigeria has all what it takes to end this insurgency. But you have to get all things right. Look at our budget in 2019 or 2020, the budget, the defense budget. 90% of the budget goes into recurrent expenditures. That means, well, yes. And then on the issue of the acquiring equipment, right type of equipment sometimes are not procured. The Boko Haram insurgents are using what type of equipment? They are using AA guns, they are using AA ammunition, they are using AK-47, they are using Buffalo vehicles. These are what they are using. This equipment can easily be obtained anywhere in the world. Armored personnel carriers are available in South Africa. Armored personnel carriers are available in Turkey. Even Propose Nigeria, to some certain extent, they can do something for us. But unfortunately, whether we like it or not, things are not moving well. Again, the Nigerian police are not well equipped. I'm in Borno State. We have about 27 local government areas in Borno State. I don't think the Nigerian police can boast of having 100 serviceable vehicles. How can we achieve? The internal security mechanism is very important. The Nigerian army is overwhelmed, and therefore the Nigerian police has to be well equipped, has to be well kitted for them to take charge of the internal security, while the Nigerian army should be allowed to take over the security, the peripheral security in our states, in our own states.
Really to raise, Governor. But looking through the communique that was released after that meeting, especially coming right after the Southern governors met and, gave their position on the 2023 presidency, saying that, well, it should come from the Southern region. There were some people perhaps expecting to see something in your communique in reference to that, or at least speaking regarding that. But I'd like to find out, haven't heard the position of the Southern governors. For the Northeast governors, what is your position regarding that position of the Southern governors that the presidency should come from the South in 2023?
I'm fortunate that people are unnecessarily overheating the polity. Politics is a game of numbers. Politics is about persuasion. This is very important. But I think you have heard me before. I did a lecture in Lagos as well as in Abuja. I said it time without numbers that I'm of the view that the presidency should shift to the South in the year 2023. This is my position. But there's one statement that I don't like it. A statement that was made by the Nigerian governor, the Southern Governors Forum. They said the president must go to Southern Nigeria. Must. Are we not in a democracy era?
Governor Zulum, the term that was used is should.
I'm of the view that
if you can hear me, the operating term that was used there, pardon me, was should. The governor should come from the southern
Can you please
part
allow
of the,
me to say something?
Region. Please go ahead.
I have said it time without numbers that I, Professor Babagana Umara, I'm of the view that the presidency should go for the South in the year 2023. Because the unity of our country is very important, one. Secondly, inclusivity is very important. Thirdly, I'm in the APC. The last 6 or 7 years ago, APC has zoned the presidency to southern Nigeria, to northern Nigeria, based on the agreement that in the year 2023, the president will go to the south. I'm a Muslim, and then there is a need for me to say the right thing. And that is the right time that the northern governors, that the APC should zone the presidency to the south. I'm speaking about APC. But again, this is politics. We're supposed to meet and then discuss these issues among ourselves, among the political class. This statement that people are saying that the president must go to the south, I want them to remove the word must. The president should go to the south. They are right. They are agitating for their right, as far as I'm concerned, especially the APC governors. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that what they said is wrong, but there's no need for them to overheat the polity. So there's no need for us to discuss this issue in the Northeast Governors Forum because the forum is non-partisan. The forum is non-partisan. And I said it over and again. Even if you zone the president to South-South, the most important thing is that how can we put heads together to ensure that the politicians, that the voters will vote for the southern people of the southern Nigeria. Because at the end of the exercise, whether we like it or not, the majority carries the vote. But as far as I'm concerned, I supported the idea that the presidency should go to the South in the year 2023. And I said it before that I'm not interested to become the vice president of the country, neither the president of the nation. But I want to say the right thing. Look at what is happening in the country. And I don't want people to blame Mr. President always. What about we, the governors? We have to holistically look at the entire problem of the nation. Corruption is very high. Extremely high. So you cannot push blame on one single person. Let us sit down and address the issue of insecurity in the nation holistically, rather than say, Mr. Buhari, Mr. Buhari. We have to put heads together and address the issue of corruption squarely, which is very important. Yes, marginalization. When we are speaking about marginalization at the national level, what about marginalization at the state level? We have to address all these issues and come up with an amicable solution that will ensure that our country will be in unison, which is very important. Thank you very much.
Well, Your Excellency, it's a fine place to live in, but clearly, I mean, there are several issues we need to talk about, solutions above all else, because the country will have to pull together and see that the country works. But I guess we'll have to get across to you much later, such that we could explore and then highlight solutions to moving the country forward. But we do thank you very much indeed for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.